All right, folks, we are going to get started here and now. We have people rolling in, I'm sure, but like I already mentioned, we are recording, so they'll be able to catch up, and we can watch the beginning here as I intro a little bit as well too before we get to the good stuff. So thank you for joining this edition of Build Mode. My name is John Nair. This is a weekly series we'll be putting on for throughout the rest of this year and are really excited to help people learn more about using AI and putting together operations with AI using the Vendasta platform. And today's topic, very fun and exciting, is we're going to be really diving into multi-tool orchestration. Now, these build mode webinars aren't necessarily meant to be required information for watching sequentially, but this one is definitely one that's a really great piece of deeper knowledge on how to use tools in the Vendasta system. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen the previous one about tools, you can still watch. You're going to be able to learn a lot, but to really implement it in your own or your customers' workflows, you're going to want to catch up on that one as well here too. But on today's agenda, we are going to be taking time to understand how you can use multiple tools. And I'll be giving you a demo of that with WooCommerce, a really great example here. We'll understand how tools can be used sequentially by AI employees and when to group capabilities and tools together. Then we'll take some time to build, and I'll give you a live tutorial on how I built this WooCommerce order creator. And this should hopefully be a bit of a back and forth discussion at the end. Deborah just put in the chat, thank you very much, that you can drop your questions in the chat or the Q&A box, and I'll make sure to leave some time to cover that at the end. But let's see a live demo of a multi-tool workflow in action. And I will start out by giving this WooCommerce example. I think this is a really good one here. And I'm going to use this example beauty bar, zoom in very much, to the AI chat receptionist. And we're going to create an order by talking to the chat receptionist here. So I'll say, hey, my wife deserves a break. Um, are there products that I can buy that we can use at home? Our AI receptionist is going to do some work to understand my question and find products that can be bought to be used at home. This is a beauty bar that you can obviously book an appointment, but it does have a store available as well too. And so our AI receptionist is doing work to find that information right now. And she says, hey, your wife deserves self care. Here's some at home products. We could click the link to view the product and understand more about it. But you know what? I'm ready to pick one. I'm going to get her. Can I get the face sauna kit, please? I'm just using natural language here. I didn't say the name of the product exactly. And the AI receptionist is now building a WooCommerce cart for me. We should see this. Great. She's saying, hey, we can do that. This is what it is. Would you like to order one? Yes, please. My name is John. You'll notice here that at this point, the receptionist also confirmed that the Sonic kit was in stock. That's awesome. To make sure that we're not trying to order something that can't be. We're looking for a phone number. I will not give my phone number in public. One nice thing here is the AI receptionist is also doing work to capture my lead information just in case I didn't complete the payment. We would still have a record of, hey, John was trying to buy something, and I could reach out back. We'll talk a little bit about how those capabilities are working together. But I believe right now, the AI receptionist is calling another tool to create that order for me. Hey, great, your order is almost complete. You can securely check out here. I'm going to click that link, and it takes me to a checkout with that there already, and I can fulfill that payment. Now, of course, some of these steps would look different on WooCommerce based on how your payments are set up and things like that. But this is a great example of how we're using multiple tools to really change how someone would do ordering for a product and give a lot of value to the customer who is chatting here, but also to the business owner. The Glow2 spot now has contact information, a really good understanding of how someone went through the search process, and they didn't need to have someone interacting with this the whole time. So, how exactly then did this multi-tool workflow happen? Well, one thing that we need to understand is that we are using tools, and tools can only really do one thing at a time because they're based on how APIs work. And more or less, APIs only let you do one thing at a time, like create new data, read or retrieve data, update data, delete data. And these are often steps that are a little bit smaller than what we think of as a human when we're kind of thinking of how we would do a workflow. So you need to really think about, hey, I'm going to need to find all of these different tools that build up to create that workflow for my AI employee to be able to do it. Just to note, there are some APIs that can kind of do multiple things, but it really depends on how it's built. And you'll need to look at your API documentation to really understand this and work with this well. So, okay, um, our tools can only do one thing at a time. We'll need to figure out what all of those one things are. You need to start with the end goal in mind to really figure out what those APIs might be that are needed for our workflow. So, for example, let's think about a really common use case where you're going to be trying to book an appointment. That is the end goal. We want an appointment booked. Well, you should then go and look at API documentation. Maybe there's a help center or something and understand, okay, what's required for an appointment to be booked in this certain system? And let's say there are two requirements for an appointment. These are pretty common ones. You need a customer record and you need an appointment time. Okay, cool. We'll make sure that there is a customer record and an appointment time. How do we make sure that there's a customer record and an appointment time? We're going to use the API to create a customer record, and that will give us that information. And we're going to use list appointments to understand the different times that we can put in to book this appointment. All of this, this create customer idea, this list appointments idea, those are going to be listed for you in API documentation. It's going to say, here's the API to create a customer. Here's the API to list appointments. Here's the information you get from those APIs. And when you look at the create a appointment API, it's going to say, we need the customer record and we need the appointment time. And you're going to use that information to work backwards to find things like create customer or list appointments. But that might not even be sort of the end of the flow. There's probably requirements for creating a customer and requirements to list appointments. Like, for example, to create a customer, a lot of different systems, they need at least something like an email address. Or to figure out the appointments to list, you need to give the API a time frame and say, please look between Monday and Friday or something like that. So you're going to start all the way back with this end in mind and continue moving back through the requirements using the API documentation until you get to something like email or time frame, where that's actually up to the user in this interaction to provide. How do we determine the email to create a customer? We can ask the customer and they can tell us which email to use. How do we determine the time frame for appointments that we should be looking at to book with the customer? We either know which ones we want, show in the next 3 days, or we can ask the customer, what time would you like to book an appointment? Would you like to start with next week? And we can get that information. So we need to work down this tree until we get to a point where either we are choosing these requirements or the customer is offering these. Now, when we're doing this in a workflow, we do need to consider how we're going to put all of these different tools together here. This create customer is a tool, this list appointments is a tool, and this appointment booked, I should have really called it create appointment, that is a tool. And it is probably most useful for us to put all of these tools together and grouped in one capability or complete workflow. So, for example, that create an appointment that required having a customer and having an appointment time and the API to book an appointment. So, because that's all a really nice contained workflow, and we're going to say, hey, first find out when they want their appointment, then make sure we have their name. We're going to group those tools together. And the nice thing about this gives AI really good context. We've done some work in Vendasta to make sure that the context engineering for our AI employees knows that creating a customer and listing appointments are the tools it should use when someone wants to book an appointment. Awesome. There are some things where we might actually have the same tool that is used in multiple places, though. So, for example, creating a customer is probably a pretty foundational API. You might need to have a customer created to book an appointment, as well as to add someone to an email list. Now, in this cases, you're probably wondering, should I be, having one capability for creating a customer and just use that capability to say, hey, create a customer in these scenarios, and then you like try and combine them with these other sort of use cases? That is possible. And I will, in another session, show why you might want to break out these tools into little contained pieces. But it's okay to have a tool included in a capability in multiple places. This helps the AI know that the capability and the tool are connected. So there's no harm in having create customer as a tool in the create an appointment capability and in the add to email list capability. If the AI needs to use it, it will. And that's great. This is a great time to mention that if there is a tool that is used in multiple places, you can have the AI remember using the tool. And this is great because it saves us time when generating a response with our AI and helps make sure that our AI doesn't have too many steps to work through. So, when we saw my demo there, I don't know if you noticed, but I certainly noticed while I was waiting that whenever our AI was using a tool, it took a little bit longer to respond because it had to wait for the system it was talking with, WooCommerce in this example, to return a response and then interpret that response. So if we are going through and it's normal for us to create an appointment and then ask someone to join our email list, we can say in our email list capability, if you know the customer ID, go ahead and use that. If you don't know the customer ID, use the tool create customer. So this is a really great way of um, handling a bunch of different ways that a conversation might work and saving ourselves and our customers or users time in the end. Since it doesn't hurt to put a tool in two places, include it in all those capabilities that it should need to be used, but also give instructions on how it can get this information in a different workflow. Like I said, there are going to be cases where maybe it might make sense to break out that create customer tool into its own separate thing, but it's going to be harder to manage. And there are so many use cases where you can get by with having these tools in multiple places. So let's aim for simplicity and start there before we get to things that are super, super complex. So let's have a demo here now of how we would create this capability using WooCommerce's documentation. So I'm going to take us all the way to this scary WooCommerce REST API documentation. And it shouldn't be too scary, because we're going to start from the beginning, or should say, from the end in mind, and do a little bit of searching to get what we're looking for. So let's think at the end of a interaction with our AI employee, our AI receptionist, what do we want to achieve? And the answer is probably to have a paid order, or get someone all the way up to taking payment. So if we look in our documentation, and let me zoom in just a little bit here. On the left-hand side, we can see all of the different APIs that are available for WooCommerce. And if I look through here, I can figure out that I think the thing that I really want someone to do at the end of this workflow is have an order that's been created. Okay, great. What options are there to create orders? Well, there's one listed really nicely there. Awesome. Um, Here's the information that I can use to create an order. Um, I'm going to skip past a little bit about how to read this documentation. You can check a previous build mode about this. But this lets me know all of the things that I can include there, and what I get back. Fantastic. And one thing that I will learn is that there is just one requirement for creating an order, and that's having a product ID. How do I get a product ID? Well, a pretty good guess is if I go to the products section, I can find all the different products that I need. And this API is going to let me look at all the products and get back a product ID. Okay, great. So I'm going to create an order, and I'm going to list all products to get the information that I need. Coming over to Vendasta, we can see I have this capability created. And I did a lot of nice prompting for it. I told it when to use the create order tool and when to use the inventory lookup tool. And one thing that's really fun about that is this inventory lookup tool I included in this order capability, but it also is there as just a live inventory lookup separately, so that our AI receptionist is able to use that in multiple scenarios. And if we look back at the conversation that I had, let's go to our anonymous visitors here. We can watch how my AI receptionist used those tools in the conversation. I asked if there are products that I can buy to use at home, and our AI receptionist took that as an opportunity to look up the different products that are available. I said, "Hey, can I get the kit?" And the receptionist checked to see that the kit was available and in stock. They also took the time to capture my lead information. Awesome, great. Continued to do this. And at this point, the AI receptionist created that order for me, creating a secure payment link. We can see the URL that it used, and how it got its inventory information there, the IDs of all of the different products, to create that order for me. Now, this has got me to where I wanted to go. I used a inventory lookup, and I used this order system to get me to my checkout screen. But I will say, it is really important to keep in mind what are the things that you're trying to get to. And when I started preparing for this presentation, I went right to the API documentation because I wanted to show off all of these fancy ways of creating these tools. But sometimes there might be a simpler way to get to your outcome. I just care about getting our customer to a screen where they can make a payment for what they want to buy. And if I took a little bit more time searching the documentation, I could have learned that I could have actually built a checkout uh, uh, endpoint, a URL, basically, without having to use any APIs at all. I still would have needed to do a little bit of work with my AI prompting to make it to build that endpoint consistently, but that would have saved me a bunch of time for using the tools. So, really, really important to remember. I was able to get there using a multi-tool workflow using the APIs, and that's going to be great and consistent and work well. But we should always, always start with that end in mind. What's the thing we're really trying to get to, and see what options there are to get to that outcome. So, um, let's go back just to a really quick tooltip reminder here. I think I harped on this really a lot, but it's so, so important. Work backwards from your end goal. If what you need is you need to get your customer to a payment link, there might be different ways of making that happen. And the ways that that can happen might be simple. It might require multiple tools and multiple APIs, but really understand what you're trying to get to so that you can work backwards and find the simplest way. If you are um, using multiple tools in a workflow, well, you should group them together in a capability. And that's going to help your AI understand when to use it. But if a tool is going to be used in multiple places and multiple workflows, that's okay. We've done some work to make sure that this is not going to get the AI too confused. And it's a-okay to use a tool in multiple places. But the AI can remember using tools. So you don't need to have the AI go through every step of creating a customer, looking up this information, finding something else if it already knows it from somewhere else. And that will save you and the people interacting with the AI a bunch of time. So we've got a little bit of time here for questions. I will go a little bit past time here, but we see one question here from Damien. Hey, will Vendasta Marketing Services do this for our client when they pay for the Conversations AI onboarding? That's a really great question. And let me actually take a moment to go into the Vendasta platform to show this in more detail. Damien, I don't know if you knew this, but Vendasta's marketing services team has done a little bit of a rebranding because when we think of this work that's being done here, this is more than marketing services. This is some pretty advanced stuff. So you might hear them just referred to as the Vendasta services team. We've got a great team of people who are working together to get to these kinds of outcomes. And if you look at the marketplace, you will see it just disappeared from me, a uh, AI receptionist setup. And this is a great way to implement the AI receptionist to do some work like this. Now, not all of these different workflows are going to be uh, uh, available by default. Um, there's some different ones that our team is able to handle, and some that they aren't. You can read more details about that in the expectation brochure. And if you need to, you can also message to ask a little bit about that. But the team is there. The Vendasta Services team is there to help set up an AI receptionist with uh, some of these workflows, depending on the different systems that we're looking for and the different outcomes that we're looking to get for. A great question there, Damien. And Tommy asked, "Hey, will this video go up on a YouTube playlist to watch back?" Yes, absolutely. I want to make sure that you have a chance to watch this back because I know that there's a lot of information in here. So this is going to be available on YouTube to watch back and see what you can do to set up different capabilities and multi tools. I think that um oh, there's one more question that just came in from Damien. And the question was, will Vendasta be able to create this for all of the products we can resell through Vendasta? And I think the answer is it really depends because there's so many different workflows, so many different outcomes that you might be trying to reach with your customer, that different businesses want to get to. We want to make sure that those really common outcomes and use cases get handled. So things like booking appointments. We might not be able to set this up for every system right now today, but we want to make sure that that is going to be possible and that our team will be able to help out as much as possible as well too. Um, things like looking up information on the website, that's going to be available by default. Doing lead capture into the Vendasta CRM, all of that for sure, our team will be able to do. But when we start looking at connections with these outside systems, it might be on a case by case basis, depending on the different system, API, and what you're trying to do. But rest assured that we want to cover as many of those as possible. Love that question. Thank you so much. Um, oh, good. We are past time. I'm going to continue answering questions as they come in, but thank you very much for listening. If you folks have to go, this will be all available on YouTube to watch. And surprise, surprise, what a great question. Um, what's the name of the playlist these videos are attached to on YouTube if you want to watch this? Let me take you on a little journey there. I'm going to go to our YouTube page. And this is a great time to mention that we do have a Vendasta help and updates channel. And this one is for things like these webinars that help us learn how to use the platform. There's a bunch of different how-to videos and things like that. And if you go to videos, firstly, mostly you'll see that I'm having these come in uh, week by week. But there's also a, build mode playlist that you can go to and watch to see each edition in order. So definitely check that out. I try to have the latest edition in at the very latest the same week. That looks like all the questions that we have this week, and I don't want to go super, super long. So thank you for attending this edition. And you can scroll back to watch some other ones on YouTube as you like. And I will be back next week with one that goes into even more complex workflow journeys using different capabilities and tools. So look forward to seeing you at the next edition. And thanks for watching.